Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is November 23rd, Black Friday, and we're doing an early stream particularly because frankly I don't have a lot of confidence I'll be awake at the normal time. We're having another flare-up of insomnia. It gets really bad in the winter time. Seasonal affective disorder or daylight savings or whatever really screws up my insomnia a lot. We have a watch and learn, which might not be something that I get in this stream, frankly, because somebody's gonna have to come on, and I'm not gonna really go crazy with trying to friend people just to get a watch and learn done, but I kind of do need to get everything else done. And let's see, is it at the point where it's worthwhile to re-roll a 60? It used to be you would never re-roll a 60. That is definitely the case, because that was a good amount of gold, but then they upgraded the amount of gold. So theoretically I should be able to, and I certainly don't want to have to win 3 games with a hunter and 3 games with a mage or shaman. Although I guess I could overlap mage here, and then I'd just have to win like 3 games with a mage. Yeah, I guess I can do that. So let's do that. We don't need to do Tavern Brawl. We don't need to do anything there. Let's jump into Tempo Mage, play rank, go in here, and get going. See, ideally, what I'd like to do is stream for a reasonable amount of time, and then if I am going to stay up any longer, I could just stay up trying to finish some programming. Unfortunately, yesterday for Thanksgiving, literally nothing happened for me. I fell asleep at like 6 in the morning. I woke up at 6 in the PM, and short of just some early Black Friday sales shopping for non-video game stuff, I didn't do anything, or like, okay, I didn't do any work. So yeah, this is where insomnia becomes a problem, certainly. The good news is I did do some scheduling. So this morning before this, so there are some good I'm a little bit further from the point of no return of just totally screwing up. I may have to do some more manual scheduling before I can get my automated system to actually be successful. See, I guess this is an indicator that I'm a fool and I should stop playing Sorcerer's Apprentice on the second turn. Like, it's probably pretty obvious that that's not what should be going on. Alright. This.
I'll never tell.
And then freeze. And then I guess I don't want to attack. Well, here's the thing. I've got to attack regardless, even if this is explosive trap, which it almost certainly is. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have waited until I had one more. So that was probably a bad play again. Yeah, so I got a few videos scheduled to replace the Back to Bed series, which that was something that needed to be replaced for that lost footage. And oh yeah, I recorded the Steam Awards nominations video and the Steam sale that's going on right now, wishlist e-begging video, which will air at 12 noon Central Time today and 2 p.m. Central Time today. So even if you happen to not see this video, there still will be a couple of extra videos airing today, which is not too bad. But yeah, a lot of this I am really just focusing myself towards going back to sleep. And ideally, I guess what I'm trying to do is just push it. If I fall asleep at, say, noon today and I fell asleep at 6 yesterday, then it would only be another 6 hours to fall asleep at 6 in the morning. I mean 6 in the evening, like on Saturday.
We have many secrets.
Which then I would be going to bed pretty early, but not at a completely ridiculous time frame. But of course, insomnia never really cooperates. I plan, for the most part, to take the weekend to try to adjust my sleep schedule back to the way it was again, and it is really just an unruly, I don't know if I want to call it dog. I guess that would be about the best phrase to use. But also, I'd like to get my automation software finished. I've realized one solution to one problem, in theory at least, so I need to implement that, and then I think I'm ready to start testing with multiple links. Now there's still a problem with this automation software where I'm going to spend probably more time than I would like still setting up the comma separated values text file. I don't really have a way of fixing that though. The only thing I guess I could imagine I could do is, although it isn't really too much to do, it's just I've got to figure out a way that I could get the URLs, the web page links to each of those videos very, very quickly, and with 100% accuracy in the right order, and with 100% accuracy of not getting any extra links or incorrect links. Well, that was a lot of stuff that happened. We have a relatively small amount of news today too, so I don't really have to rush into it. That being said, there really isn't a lot to talk about. It's a Friday. Going early on a Friday probably couldn't hurt, but being a Friday, I imagine not too many people are going to come on the stream. Being Black Friday, maybe it's a little bit different. I do kind of wonder, give it 3 to 5 years, are we going to now be allowed to call it Black Friday, or is it going to adopt some new name? In this instance, of course, Black Friday is when the accountants start using the black ink, because this is the point where traditionally where the companies start making a profit for their annual profit, which really doesn't have anything to do with how accounting is done now, because how accounting is done now with the generally accepted accounting procedures. They basically just make up numbers. And before using black ink, everything would have been in red ink, as in you're running a deficit. It's kind of ridiculous in general. Like, I'm a pretty anti-consumerist person, but I also am a pretty big shopper, to be honest, and I love a deal in general from the perspective of for things that I was going to buy anyways, or at least feel like I was going to buy anyways. One of the things I've run into a lot, or I've run into more people than I realized that I would, is a lot of people who just never want to buy anything ever, and it honestly costs them more money in the long run. Because if you tell somebody, hey, here's a great example, hey, you should buy a new sacrificial anode rod for your water heater, and you should have your water heater serviced and desalinated. That's going to be money that a lot of people don't want to spend. They would much prefer that their water heater bust a hole in it and spill water and damage the house. And probably a lot of that has to do with home insurance and the gambling mentality that insurance for everything is. Insurance is just gambling, and it's a shame that everybody gets forced into having it in two particular instances of homeowners or renters insurance and car insurance. The good news is when we get to all electric cars, or mostly electric cars, I don't think people are going to have to pay car insurance anymore.
Gina versus Gina.
But yeah, there's definitely
it is on.
a way to save money by buying preemptive replacements and doing preemptive repairs. And there's a way to save money by shopping on Black Friday and looking at it from the perspective of these are the items that I've been thinking about getting since last Black Friday. So I've been thinking about it, it's been on my list for 12 months. Or these are the items that I kind of know I'm going to have to replace in the next 12 months. Which, for like a lot of sales, that's not what's on sale, frankly. Lots of what's on sale is gadgets and just trends and toys and things like that. And certainly, if you can afford those extra things, those extra niceties, that's fine too. Always try to spend the least amount of money, but I think people get into stores and then end up spending more than they planned on spending. But then there is definitely a lot of people I've run into who never want to spend any money at all. Like, never. Like never. 30 years that they're still wearing the same pair of pants. They've worn holes in it and patched the pants. This is definitely an attitude from the Depression era. And it's just kind of inconvenient, not realistic, not reasonable in a modern United States lifestyle. I know people are broke, but then inherently there are a lot of people in the United States that act like they're super broke, but they find money for the lottery tickets every week. They find money for cigarettes and alcohol every week. It's a matter of priorities. You can save yourself certainly a lifetime of expenses by just not being addicted to anything. Even marijuana here, and I know marijuana, they always say marijuana's not addictive, but heck, if you're just not doing it, that's free money there.
We have many secrets.
Let's see. Do I want to freeze this guy? I think I do. But also just don't do a lot of shopping outside of sales. Slickdeals.net is the site that I follow, and I'd recommend everybody follow. It lets you see when things are real deals and when things are kind of just, it's 10% off, it's 15% off. Slickdeals.net compared to like Amazon.com sales yesterday, almost none of them made it to the top of the front page on slickdeals.net, because almost none of those deals, particularly from Amazon.com, Amazon.com is pretty bad on both on Prime Day and Black Friday. about not really offering much of deals. But then there's also a lot of things that just never go on sale too. It's a lot easier to get a sale on a mattress than it is to get a sale that's a good sale on like a Sleep Number mattress. Because once you lock into a specific brand, that's a monopoly that is by one developer alone. So, you know. But yeah, I so far haven't seen a ton of great sales. You know, like Amazon has the Harry Potter Blu-rays on sale. That's probably a good deal if you were ever going to buy the Harry Potter Blu-rays and wanted to own them. I would put the caveat there. Do you really need to own any Blu-rays nowadays? Unless you already have a massive collection of DVDs or Blu-rays, or for some reason you have no way of accessing things through like Netflix or Amazon Prime or iTunes or anything like that. If you don't have any streaming service, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I could see people out in the countryside though with terribly slow internet though still wanting Blu-rays. A lot of TVs, particularly if you're willing to buy last year's model at a slight discount and a big size. Like if you're looking for like a 30-inch TV, you're not going to get much of a deal. But if you're willing to get a 55 or 60-inch TV that's a 4K smart TV, you can get a decent deal here and there. But yeah, so far I haven't seen anything, and it's just all online shopping. So if there are any store shopping events where you actually have to go in the shop and it's specific to your specific location, I have no idea about those, and those have not been deals for a very long time.
Unity, precision.
There's a 2-in-1 furniture dolly on Amazon that I had planned on already purchasing that I got. There's a new Ecobee 3 Lite, or the Ecobee 4 thermostat. Smart thermostats are on slight discount. If you specifically were looking for an Ecobee thermostat, this will be your best and only option really to own that. Get that, because that's just how it's gonna break down always, is that darn it. Slight discount on Amazon for blue base plates, those blue small base plates from Lego.
Do not fear.
Yeah, and that's kind of it. And certainly on Slick Deals, the sales come and they go very quickly, and it's no different today than it is any other day. So you can very easily miss a sale simply because you did not act on it as fast as humanly possible. For instance, the Best Buy, there was a BestBuy.com sale for Ecobee remote sensors that work with the Ecobee thermostats to detect the temperature in other rooms, where they were half off. That sale is gone by the time I got back around to it. So that's a 50% discount on something that is owned by a single company, and there are no alternatives is a pretty big loss. I will say that Black Friday for Amazon in particular, and I've mostly just been looking at Amazon, most of the other things, Kohl's, Target, you're not really going to get a sale there. Walmart, maybe you'll get a few sales on Walmart, but then it's probably going to be bad quality, weird stuff on Walmart. Let's see. Do I have somebody I can watch and learn? See, this guy's making a deck. I'm hoping he would. We'll see you in the next game if he jumps into a game. Amazon Prime Day seemed to have more sales on construction things. If you were thinking about putting in, say, new vanity lights in the bathroom, new in-ceiling lights, things like that. Things that typically are never on sale because there's always, in the United States, a bit of a housing boom, and always a demand. Well, I'll take that free victory. So Amazon Prime Day seemed like it had some sales like this. This time it doesn't. In a lot of ways too, I'm kind of content. Like, I'm in a phase and in a place in my life right now where I'm just trying to maintain and replace things. If things are old enough that they'd likely break, I want to replace them before they break, and that's kind of it. Like, there's not too much more I want to get, or want to own. It would become kind of silly to buy any more anime because I haven't watched what I have for many years. It's kind of silly to buy too much computer stuff because I kind of don't need anything. I do need a new video card, and that's it, really. As long as the rest of my computer works, everything else is fine. I don't want to own a console, even though Best Buy had a sale for at least a short time where you could get a refurbished Xbox 360 for $69 and then get a rebate for the same amount. So the Xbox refurbished 360 was free after rebate, which is a very good deal, certainly. I'd take a Switch if I could get one for free, but I'd probably hack that Switch too. So incredible discovery. Yeah, the video game wise, I really didn't see a lot of deals other than the Steam deals, and you'll see in my video that airs at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I go through the Steam deals and I do it kind of roughly. In all honesty, it's a pretty... I don't know how to do these videos the way I think they should be done. Or if there actually is a way to do these videos the way I think they should be done. Because they always do kind of come off e-beggy and a little awkward.
I found it first.
Guess we'll start with that. But there's a decent amount of games that were on my wish list, and that's basically how I shopped. Is just looking at the newly cleaned up wish list, which I guess I got that work done as soon, right when I needed it to be done. I really wasn't thinking about that, however. So, yeah, the cleaned up wish list, there's a decent number of games that are 49 cents. When I digged a little bit deeper after recording that video, a lot of the ones that are 49 cents then turned around and had some DLC or something that bumped them up to $1.50. There's a decent number of games that are below $2. I found my limit at about $1.99. If something is below $1.99 and it's on my wish list, I probably am fine with throwing that in the wish list. And then, so that's what I did. I looked at everything below $2, and then I also
many secrets.
made a special effort to go at the wish list from a different angle and look at the percent discounted, and I looked at everything and it was discounted over 75% on Steam and added both of those. So a handful of things below $2 that were on the wish list, and a selection of things that were above $2 but discounted over 75%. I put all of those on my shopping cart, and I believe it added up to a total of $71. So I don't know if I'm really going to hit that button and actually purchase this, because honestly the autumn sale is not giving you anything right now. It's, if I was rolling in cash, if this YouTube channel was making any money for me, I'd probably hit the OK button and purchase that, but it's probably a lot better for me to simply do the same action next month during the December sales, because I assume the December sale will potentially be like a summer sale and give you trading cards of some sort for every $10 you spend. So I'd be missing out on potentially 7 trading cards if I purchase things right now from Steam. That being said, if somebody wants to gift me games to support my channel, now is a sale, and that makes a lot of sense. And it's very possible that the games that are 49 cents, which is the lowest the price can be, see, we just need like one more mage. Let's just go to the watch and learn quest 2. Yeah, it's very possible that the games that are 49 cents for this sale won't be well, that was hardly a watch and learn situation. Let's hope he jumps into the next game and wins. Yeah, different games could be on discount certainly, but the wishlist has about 2,300 games on it. I would say at least the first 300 of them are, when you look search by ranked order, games that are top tier, games that I definitely want to cover, and I'd love to play them as soon as possible. So I think we're kind of good with the wish list. I think it will always be a case of something good will be available for purchase, and it'll probably be a 50-50 shot of, okay, these games are cheap and they're on the wish list, so they're good enough, so let's get a bunch of them because they're 49 cents and get a booster to my library so I always have a selection to pick from. And then these games are good and I really do want to play them, and they're a little bit more expensive, but they're below like the $10 mark, so they're not insanely expensive. And some games certainly just don't go on great discounts ever. There definitely are some games that are just never on sale, or they're slightly on sale but not really worth it. But yeah, right now I'm not thinking I'm actually going to buy any games for this sale, even though they're in my shopping cart. If somebody was to gift card, send me a gift card for $75, I would hit okay, certainly, but that's asking way too much. Like, you could send me a gift card for $5, but 75 is way too much of an ask. Let's go ahead and start covering the news. I think this is going to be a 1-episode recording at this point, and so far all I've talked about is Black Friday and shopping in general. Arguably, I may spend too much time shopping, but in a lot of ways, though, because I look at slick deals and look for really good deals and window shop a lot, I actually end up spending a lot less money than I have in the past, certainly, because I've gotten much more familiar about sales and understanding how they come and go, how they're seasonal, when there's a good sale, when there isn't. There we go. See, and that should be our watch and learn victory. There we go. So let's come back here. Now, all we're looking for on these, on the main account with classic cards, is a legendary that we don't have and gold cards. So that epic is kind of useless, and these 4 cards are useless. These will be the same old, and they'll give me about 40 dust. This golden epic will give me maybe 800 dust. So that actually might be quite a deal. So disenchant these 4 for 20 dust. Wow, that's pretty bad. I thought it would have been 40. And then we'll come over here. Golden epic. I really have no desire of holding on to gold cards. Not while I still have dust. Oh, so it's only going to give me 400 dust. I was hoping it was 800. It cost 1600 to convert it, but it only gave me 400. And see, if I were like Criterion, who has like a complete collection and tons of extra cards, he holds on to as many extra goldens as possible in case the cards get nerfed. That way they can sell for the same amount of dust, and then he can have this big old pile of dust, which then helps him get any new cards for any new expansions. That being said, that really only works for Criterion and a few other very top tier Hearthstone streamers, not people that are people like me or just your regular Joe. Like, Criterion has had cards and sponsorships and everything given to him. I had forgotten these new cards were added to the classic set, so it seems kind of odd that I haven't filled out this classic set with these new common cards. That seems weird. And see, I'm 5 dust away from getting this one, and then that's probably what I'd want to do, is when I get 5 more dust is craft this. But then I guess I'd have to come back and still open classic packs. This time next year it is going to definitely be odd to get classic style packs and not really need them. Alright, next we just need one more mage victory, so let's play it and then we'll move over to the European account. So yeah, I said we were going to start covering the games. Let's look at the first game. We have the Lost Sergeant, which is a dark screenshot syndrome style first person shooter. Looks like it might be a bit of an asset flip. It's very weird that the character seems to be far to the left of the screen. That seems odd. Maybe that's not the character you're playing as. But then where's your gun? Either this is a third person perspective game where your character is way over here,
it is on.
or you're not carrying a gun in any of these incidences, and then that doesn't make any sense because clearly there's a gun UI. Like, what's funny is these very low effort games, and right now we'll have the Steam Awards thing listed here, is that they can definitely make a game look good in the screenshot and the videos until you really learn what there's to spot as far as the cheats and tricks that they're pulling off. Yeah, as I'm looking at the video of this game, it looks rather good, but I know that the skyboxes and the characters are just asset flips. That's all they are. Also, I'm noticing this entire menu is in, I guess, Italian instead of English. Yeah, The Lost Sergeant. Why would you make a trailer in Italian and then say the game is also compatible in English? So we could look at this developer and see that he hasn't developed anything. I can look at the publisher and see that the publisher hasn't published anything else. So yeah, definitely not making it to the follow list. I have pretty much come to the decision that I think probably by the end of the year we won't even have time to wait till March. I think by the end of the year we'll have to do a follow list cleanup of some sort. And the follow list is awkward to deal with, certainly, because it's just not the same web page and interface as the wish list is. I just wish there was 2 wish lists. That's all I really want. Alright. If I play this, I can't play this. So, what do? I do this. I do this. I do that. GameIndustry.biz has an article. When does an homage become a ripoff? Legal and non-epic games uncompensated copying for other creators' dances in Fortnite has called the company's morality in question. I don't know why anybody should question the morality of a company. It should be blatantly obvious to everybody that corporations do not have any morality. They are not people, and they do not have souls. And they certainly will not act like they did have a soul, even if they did. Figuratively speaking souls. And literally speaking souls, I suppose. This is a story that expands on the fact that they pretty much stole a set of dance movements from this rapper who also worked on Scrubs, the friend on Scrubs. I suppose it's fair enough to call him the black friend on Scrubs. I'm pretty sure they made many jokes about that. And he improv'd a dance on the show, and then they kind of used that. Now, the funny thing here is there's really no legal recourse at all. The idea that a dancer could copyright a dance is insane. It's totally insane. It goes from the idea that somebody could potentially wow. Think about the Hokey Pokey, if you're old enough to remember that. Everybody in the United States at one point was hearing the Hokey Pokey when they were a kid. If somebody copyrighted that and they claimed everybody who was dancing the Hokey Pokey had to pay a license to it, that'd be insane. It's totally insane. Like, copyright is for big things. Copyright was for authors who had their 300-page novels getting completely stolen and ripped off and printed and sold without any money going to the original authors at all. I don't think copyright was even really designed for people who are writing limericks or short poems. Like, maybe you could get a copyright for a poem and that makes sense. But physical movement? That's ridiculous. There's no way you could enforce it legally. There's no way this would be better for society. I think in general the idea of copyright has come and gone. Very few things should get copyright anyways, in my opinion. Copyright was always supposed to be this very limited thing that was balanced on what benefits society versus what benefits the individual. Now that has gotten completely perverted to the point of copyright being used by corporations like Disney to benefit the individual corporation and the rich people at the severe disadvantage of society in general. Mickey Mouse is a great example of that. When is the last time there's been any kind of Mickey Mouse cartoon or anything created? There really hasn't been. Instead, Disney just kind of sits on it and doesn't create anything new. Had Mickey Mouse gone into the public domain at the time it should have, originally, there would have been so many webtoon animators and other creators making Mickey Mouse characters and cartoons. I think, yeah, like the King James version of the Bible is a great example of, here's a book that is based off the Bible, which is thousands of years old, and yet somehow somebody claims they own the copyright to that book, and thus nobody else can reprint it. That's insane, particularly when you're talking about the Bible. So yeah, people can be upset, certainly. You can write these opinion pieces on your article, but Epic in this case is actually doing better for society than the actor who created that dance. The actor who created that dance, to my knowledge, and as far as I think anybody knows, he created it on the spot for that TV episode, and that was it. He never went on to make more dances and show it off or entertain anybody more using that dance. Whereas Epic has taken that dance and they put it in Fortnite, one of the most popular games ever. They've entertained and allowed thousands upon thousands of people, mostly young people, to express themselves and be entertained with it. Epic is in the right. They've done more for society with that dance than the original creator. Copyright's not always good. If you could copyright movement, that would be horrible. What if like sleazy doctors started copywriting the movements to perform surgery? How crazy would that be? That would be insane. We have TT on the chat saying what up, or what's up. Hey TT. So we're on the European account now. Yeah, I know Travis wanted to play me, and I'm just gonna say apologies right now, unless he jumps in the chat and tells me he's here. I don't think I'm gonna get back to the main account. I did accept his friend request, however. We have a 60 gold that says win 3 tavern brawls. I think we can pull that off. So let's hop in here. And what are we gonna go with? Hunter? Let's go with Hunter. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Raptor Cretaceous Island. This looks like this is probably an asset flip. Looks like a pretty bad forced asset flip. General gun. And yeah, pretty bad roads and pretty bad asset flip of a raptor.
Bring it on.
Yeah, nothing amazing here. Honestly, I don't see the appeal of a hunting dinosaurs game anyways. $7.99 is what they're selling it for. It might make some sense in some kind of weird Jurassic Park tie-in, but even the Jurassic Park movies, there's like not a lot of people shooting the dinosaurs. There's, I think in Jurassic Park 2, there's a couple of bad guys that are shooting dinosaurs, and they're shown as being completely bad guys by shooting the dinosaurs. Like, I think if you're gonna go that route, you've got to do like a Turok reboot, and you have to bow hunt and set snares and traps, and then you're making a hunting game, and hunting games don't sell unless you just make it super I don't know how you would describe the Tomb Raider reboot, but I'd say kind of cleaned up might be a good way to call it, where Lara Croft does have a bow and arrow, but she's hardly spending a lot of animated frames and cutscenes skinning animals. Like, animal skinning in general has become something people don't really want to see. And honestly, the only kind of hunting game you can play in a video game that's any fun is some kind of accelerated arcadey hunting game, because real hunting is generally very boring. It takes forever. You have a very good chance of not seeing or hitting an animal at all. Let's come over here and play. Give a random friendly minion +1/+1. Hero power can target minions. Don't really need that right now. So I'll do this. We're doing the Tavern Brawl, where you get a copy, a 1/1 copy of whatever card you play. GameIndustry.biz has an article. The Xbox Adaptive Controller Christmas ad furthers Microsoft's push for accessibility. The platform holder creates a short film to highlight the new device during crucial sales period. Let's see. I guess the ad is here, so I'm gonna just watch it. There's a child that looks completely able-bodied playing, running in the snow, and he calls some other kids that were playing like hockey on the ice, but not really. And then they calling another kid who is playing Xbox, and now there's this kid that's playing piano. So that they're running through the neighborhood, calling everybody over, and they come into this room of this child who is clearly wheelchair bound, and he is playing with the Xbox One Adaptivity controller. And now one of the kids is flossing for Fortnite. So, okay. Yeah, honestly, it didn't look like the kid that was disabled was really using the accessibility controller in any way you could actually do that. Which is my thought, particularly for the accessibility controller in general is that it looks like it's a pretty expensive controller by default, but to really use it, you're probably going to spend like $150 to buy accessories. So yeah, like the kid stands up out of his chair, so he's not actually wheelchair bound, and dances around in a circle with his arms up. I'm not sure what the actual disorder he has, but it seems like he had no use of his at least right arm. There we go. I kind of feel like Microsoft pushing the adaptive controller in a Christmas ad is probably the wrong way to go, but it probably will get a lot of people to talk about the ad, where if they were to just make a regular Christmas ad, that would be about all there is to it. So, like, yeah, it's a decent idea, and it probably frees them up to put some Crackdown ads listed for Crackdown, which I think should be out pretty soon. And any other games, there should be definitely an ad for a holiday, like a holiday bundle. There definitely have been some sales. Certainly not a bad thing. And targeting a younger child with disability is probably better than targeting some of the speedrunners and other kind of semi-pro and pro players who have disabilities. Let's see what I want to do here. Put a 1-cost minion from each deck into the battlefield. I'm just gonna play this. Let's see. Moving on. We've got a game on Steam called Life Game, which I assume is a simulation game, low effort, by this terrible art assets alone. Yeah. Feels like you'd probably be playing a game where you live just somebody's life. Kind of like The Sims, but a lot worse. Yeah, this does not look interesting whatsoever. Alright, secrets cost 0. Give your other minions +1 health.
Shiny, shiny, lovely loot.
There you go. Gamma Sutra has an article, We Happy Few, Early Access and the Danger of a Good Trailer. Now, I think this title, without having read the article, probably is inaccurate. I don't think We Happy Few suffered particularly because of early access. I definitely will agree that they suffered somewhat from having a good trailer, but honestly, it's not the fault of the trailer being good, it's the fault of the developers, Compulsion Games, not making a shift towards the demand that was clearly there. The trailer itself is probably slightly bad because it does not depict what the game really is, but honestly they could have shifted away from the survival mechanics pretty easily into a more linear Bioshock-esque style of game, which is what people expected and wanted after having seen the trailer.
Speak your piece.
Okay.
Be
So
inspired.
we'll do that. And that's all I can do. So on the turn. The problem, in my opinion, that's bigger is Compulsion Games went out and started a Kickstarter, used that trailer to get a lot of people to fund that Kickstarter, and got in over their head. And they wanted to make a certain kind of game, and then that wasn't really what people were the game they wanted to make really wasn't what people thought they were going to make, and that's a big problem. I would say Double Fine did a very similar mistake when they made Brutal Legend. Brutal Legend looks like and plays like a action RPG game for the first start of the game, and all the ads certainly looked like that was what that was going to be. And then after the first third of the game or so, they introduced the stage battle mechanic that everybody hated, except for people at Double Fine, which people at Double Fine still defend and love that fighting mechanic and that stage battle mechanic for not really great reasons, in my opinion. The truth is, if they just made a Brutal Legend mod to take out the stage battles, the game would be a lot more accessible and fun. They should just have an easy mode where you don't have to do the stage battles. It's just that simple. And the same is true for We Happy Few. The idea of if there was a mod in We Happy Few that took out most of the grindy search for collectibles and survival items amongst the ruins of the cities. If all of that was taken out and the mod just magically teleported you from one story point where you have a conversation with a character to the next story point, and there was not even really that much gameplay in between it, if it really was just kind of like a Telltale game, that would have been better, in my opinion, than what they eventually came out with. Let's see. Deal 5 and 2.
Such easy sport.
I'm gonna go ahead and try to kill some things. The last paragraph of this Gamma Sutra article, opinion piece, really is how it should be described, since that's really all this is. Gamma Sutra being in tight with the game industry, so much so that half of their articles are from the game industry, directly written. The last paragraph goes, quote, "It all goes back to two core points," end quote. Abbott concludes. 1. Do you think your game would benefit from significant ongoing feedback? And 2. Do you have the financing requirement that might benefit from early access? If the answer is yes to both, I think you should go for it, and I guess that would be early access. I really don't think that there would have been much of a difference had We Happy Few not been in early access. There might have been a slight change there, but I don't think it would be much. Maybe you could have suckered some people into buying the game, because if there wasn't an early access and people hadn't seen it. But in the end, people would have been disappointed and probably refunded the game or complained significantly. Generally speaking, I don't want games to ever be in early access, because I don't want people selling games that are unfinished. It's just that simple. I want a finished product. I think people deserve a finished product before they see it, and you can only put your best foot forward once. And for We Happy Few in particular, the best foot forward was that cutscene trailer. And had they gone dark after that, had there been no early access after that, and the game had just come out, that might have been better. That being said, like, the feedback that people were giving in early access was, from what I hear, that they pretty much completely hated the entire gameplay mechanic it was based on. So, and that gameplay mechanic did not get changed, did not get removed. It's a little unreasonable to expect that it would have. So I don't know what you can learn from a process like that. 2, 4, 6. Guess I could kill this one.
Such easy sport.
Give your other mechs +2. Do I have other mechs? I guess I kinda do. Do I have enough here to play 2 of these? I should now. Nope. No, that worked. Okay.
Quickly.
Yeah, but that's not gonna win for me. So I'll just end the turn. It'll be very interesting to wrap up my thoughts on We Happy Few, which oddly I have more thoughts on We Happy Few and talking about We Happy Few than I have interest in actually playing the game, which I probably should play the game, but honestly I feel like it'll be interesting to see what Microsoft does now that Microsoft has bought that company. If they ever touch We Happy Few again, or that universe, or if they maybe go back to their previous game Contrast. Let's see. Do I want to play? Let's play a priest, and maybe expand on Contrast. When you look at the game Contrast and how short that was, I think an objective observer, if there could be an objective observer in this case, would have kind of known We Happy Few was biting off way more than they could chew. Because even Contrast kind of ends abruptly and early and isn't a big enough or long enough game for what you'd like it to be. It really is more of this linear storyline experience that doesn't really have a gameplay mechanic other than its unique lighting and shadow gameplay mechanic that's cool, and even that runs out of steam. I wouldn't be surprised if Compulsion Games honestly gets put as like a secondary support team for several of the other companies that they've bought. And that they're not even really going to make any games under Microsoft's new ownership. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it goes completely. I guess we're just gonna keep on going. Yeah, I was gonna make one episode and we've gone an hour. So, like, next there's a game on Steam that's in Chinese or Japanese. It's Japanese writing. Looks like it's garbage anyways, but I can't name it, so it's not something I could play even if I could name it. So like, I can show it to you certainly, but doesn't really mean anything to me. It just looks like it's a low effort Japanese game. They do exist on rare occasions. Although most Japanese would have too much pride to put out a low effort terrible game on Steam. Next we have a game on Steam called Empires The Rise, which is probably a Age of Empires clone, maybe a free-to-play game. Yeah, it's tagged free-to-play. It doesn't really have any relevancy to me, and it doesn't sound that interesting. It's early access, it's free, it says single player with in-app purchases. I'm not going to get into any game that has in-app purchases, because, yeah, those games suck. Choose a friendly menu, summon a 5 copy of it. Interesting.
Job's done.
Next we have a game on Steam called Grooming Adventure, which I hope this is hair grooming and not something else, but I don't know if any of it has anything to do with anything. To me it looks like it's just a very low effort, terrible platforming game. It looks more like a student project, a second year student project, versus something that should be sold on Steam for $1.99, no discount. Yeah. That does bring about an interesting side thought, though. That there honestly should be nothing wrong if somebody did artfully and in good taste, and I'm all free speech, so even if you wanted to not do it artfully or in good taste, I'd still be okay with you doing it. But there really is nothing wrong with the general idea of making a video game where a character actually sexually is grooming a minor, because, and hear me out here, there is this little novel called Lolita that is a classic, and certainly that exists. That movie exists. A movie was based off that novel. No, actually, at least 2 movies were based off that novel and made. So yeah, there's certainly something to be said. I'll just go in with this, and let's play this. Now, almost certainly, I would say Valve would not allow a game like that to be on their storefront, but theoretically Valve said that they were cool with stuff like that. Theoretically. In actuality, I don't think they really were. Not as much as... Okay, so I can attack, but these guys will only get +3 attack every time they take damage. So these two can't ever get any get any extra attack. I should know what these cards do. I just don't pay enough attention. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called The Haunted Island, a frog detective game, which I guess I might be generous enough to put this on the follow list. This might be like a kid's game. This might be worth playing from that perspective. Or, you know, this might be a meme game with a frog like Pepe the Frog. I don't know. This is a short game, it says. So I'll put this on the follow list and investigate further at a different time. Okay, this will do 1 damage to all minions. So choose a friendly minion. So a 5/5 copy of that. And discover a death rattle card. And let's take this taunt card. Attack here. Attack here. And then return. TechRaptor has an article. Twitter bans user who tweeted about killing Sean Bean in Hitman 2. Sean Bean being the actor who was in one of the Hitman 2 commercials, who was an elusive target for Hitman 2. So yeah, Twitter is all over the place. Like, let's see. The exact quote here, I guess we can show because, you know, it's important to always know the context, even though so often the context gets lost. Let's see.
Let the pain speak to me.
How do we want to play this? I hit this one, and then
Touch that.
that, and that, and then I'm gonna hit that.
Job's done.
There you go. That worked pretty well. So we can come over here and just look at it. So this person, the fat consoler, which I assume is, as in you play consoles, tweeted, "Looks like I'm going to be killing Sean Bean tonight." I could see how, if you put this, if this is getting automatically flagged, by somebody, at Twitter, and then Twitter almost certainly has just got people in India that are looking at the flags automatically. This makes sense. Like, it really does make sense that it would just accidentally get removed. Because, yeah, context. As I'm talking about context, this is an example of that. Very much. Okay. So, how do we want to do this? We do this. We do that. We attack here. And we end the turn. Twitter says, note that if you attempt to evade a permanent suspension by creating new accounts, we will suspend your account. If you wish to appeal this suspension, contact support team. I've never seen any of these.
Drink the power.
And there's no statement here that this isn't a permanent suspension. And then apparently he appealed it and then they undid it. Let's see. And so then the fat consoler put out this thing, this follow-up. Got banned for this reference to a computer video game, but now I'm back, so Sean Bean better keep sweating. Inherently, this is just a case of a great example of all these services should, in my opinion, just be free speech. Free speech, free speech, free speech. You can say whatever you want, And if it's illegal, and if it's an actual threat, if it's a credible threat, if it meets all the qualifications to end up in the court case, just let the courts sort it out. If Sean Bean feels like he's being threatened, he should contact the police. The police will decide whether it's a credible thing and whether it's worth their time to investigate. And then they will probably ignore it and move on, frankly, because they'll realize immediately it's not credible. Hopefully the police don't decide to go the other route and pursue and waste taxpayers' money for something that is obviously a reference to a video game. But yeah, just let the police and the courts sort it out, and honestly, Twitter should just leave it alone. Leave all the terrible, awful, disgusting things that get posted on the internet up, frankly. Stop trying to be a policing authority when you do not have the authority or the moral credibility to do so. Because you know what? That doesn't really work for Twitter in the long run. It just makes less and less people feel confident that they can express themselves freely on your service, and thus you're less people willing to actually use Twitter. So yeah, that's not good for business. Personally, I guess I could say this directly as I'm waiting here. If somebody were to post something in my chat or my comments threatening me, like, I would be rather upset if I knew that they were joking or referencing a video game if YouTube decided to take that down or take action against that person. Particularly if it was a situation where we were all joking and we knew what was saying was not serious. And I have gone as far as to tell YouTube as best as I can to not do any of that. To not censor or blur out any common, like, negative words or bad words or anything like that. That does lead to some people in the chat getting in trouble, and then I have certainly muted and blocked and reported people, mostly for harassment, but it needs to go through me. It needs to go through the content creator who has the most on the ground perspective, nuance, understanding of what the conversation is and what's going on. It doesn't need to go through some AI bot or somebody who is in India that's looking at thousands and thousands of tweets or comments and has no idea what is relevant and what isn't. Anyways, let's see. We have a game on Steam called Falconarian Tactics. This looks like a JRPG, but kind of an RPG Maker, the new RPG Maker style game. I think that's RPG Maker MX. And it certainly doesn't look that interesting for a new game. It's from kind of a no-name developer, as far as I can tell. We'll see if they've developed anything else. Let's see, go ahead and play this. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have attacked first. Oh, it's not explosive trap. Interesting. It's almost always explosive trap. Actually, this developer has made several other games. It's just that none of them are recognizable. Yeah. Another just generic JRPG. At the end of the last stream, where I was falling asleep and not really in any good position to be streaming, I mentioned that I was adding to my Twitter feed, which is my main source of video game news, a Sid Alpha YouTuber, a YouTuber named Sid Alpha, at Sid Alpha. He goes right now by the name Sid, quote, Toxic Consumer Advocacy Alpha. And immediately I recognize that he tweets way too much for me, so I'm muting him. Not particularly for anything he said, just but for the fact that he just talks way too often, and almost all of my Twitter feed is designated towards the What's on Steam bot and seeing what new games came out every day. That's kind of 95% of the tweets I need to see, and anything that gets in the way and starts making those less visible is going to be a problem. I can follow somebody that posts once a day, certainly, but he does just way too much. Which I've muted a lot of other people there too. But I'm muting him, I'm not unfollowing him. I've only unfollowed a couple of people. I must have muted Randy Pitchford because I have not seen any of his tweets in a long amount of time. Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox. A furry online website was hacked, and furries being anthropomorphic humanoid animals, and all of the users' database information came out. Now I clicked on the wrong link, so all I have here right now to show is a screenshot, but I will just go ahead and show the screenshot of what the characters seem to all look like. You know, just, you know, anthropomorphic humanoid animals. Nothing too special about it.
Let me think.
I think, frankly, that... Okay, here's the actual article from TechRaptor. I think too many people fall into the joke of all furries being just sexual deviants, and in all honesty, I think there's actually not as much of that as you would think, and a lot more very socially awkward people on the Asperger's scale that are into furrydom, and frankly, it might be a straight case of just yellow journalism and slander. But yeah, TechRaptor's more to the point article: erotic furry game data breach comprises data for 400,000 users. Now they're using the exact phrase erotic furry game data. So this was a game called Hightail Hotel, and this story was originally from GameIndustry.biz. So, like all the other developers, all the other journalists on Steam, in general, they just republish the same articles without doing any real investigation themselves. Let's see. It says Hightail Hotel is a game in the furry fandom that can stray into the territory of erotica. Apparently it was run through their own website. User emails, names, and IP addresses and orders to the site have been exposed. Thankfully, no credit card information or financial data was stolen as part of the particular breach. That's what they all said. Salted hashes were part of the included data, but the very nature of salting makes it less likely that anything nefarious could be done. Let's go back to Hunter. They're recommending you could go to haveibeenpawned.com, PWND. I'm not sure that going to that site is actually the right thing, because to search to see if like your email has been leaked, you have to type in your email, which then might leak your email. So I think, you know, it would be easier just to go with a scorched earth policy. If you think you've been hacked, abandon your email, abandon all contact information, abandon all passwords, change the password on all accounts, change the email on all accounts, and just start over from scratch, which is definitely going to be a lot of work.
Job's done.
There definitely are a couple of erotic furry games on Steam, and if I ever figure out a way to cover those games, I'd be fine with covering pretty much any fetish, and that's really what that falls down, in my opinion. Speaking of covering adult games, Jesse Cox on the most recent Co-optional podcast is actually thinking about going to Pornhub and streaming several games, starting with Lust for Darkness, and streaming and reviewing other content of an adult nature, which is kind of what I've been thinking about too. If I was ever going to try and cover those games, is just go straight to Pornhub. So it'll be interesting to see if that is actually a successful, viable business model, or if that just will not work for some reason. Oddly, Jim Sterling was on this week's Co-optional podcast. I personally am surprised to see Jenna Bane still have anything to do with Jim Sterling after what felt like to me a very lackluster response and message of support when her husband Total Biscuit died. But maybe the support was more private, but even then that's kind of still a problem, because there was people actually attacking him like the day he died, and it didn't feel like a lot of people saying, hey, that's not right, that's just totally morally wrong. Even if you did disagree with some of his opinions, attacking somebody the day they die is completely beyond good taste. But they had him on and whatever. Like, and I don't know if there's a lot to listening to the Co-optional podcast anymore ever since Jenna Bane took over. And they stopped covering new games. They've gotten further and further as far as actually talking about video games, which makes it less reasonable that I'm still wasting my time watching those incredibly long podcasts. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Woodpunk, which looks like it's let's tag Pixel Graphics Bullet Hell. Let's see. Okay, so it's like a top-down twin-stick shooter. Doesn't look terrible, but I hate top-down twin-stick shooters. It does look like there's a lot on the screen. Just like too much on the screen for a lot of this. I'll watch this video just to double check, but I'm fairly certain this game is not making it to the follow list. Yeah, I'm seeing it in action, and it is just a top-down twin-stick shooter game. Seems to have a bunch of weapon combinations that you can have. Right. This and this. Yeah, that game's not making it to the list. Let's see. Check out there as an article. Game Dev Studio is a proper game making management game. This is probably just going to be an article talking about Game Dev Studio, which I think actually is actually still a game from the screenshots and not an actual engine to make games. Yeah, it's on Steam, so I'd say it's a game. Let's see. Your other minions have Rush. Taunt. Oh man, I screwed that up. I could have easily killed something here. See, had I killed that one minion first, I would have had 2 taunt minions, which would have been nice. Yeah, Game Dev Studio definitely does not look like it is something like Unity or Unreal. Borderlands, Gearbox. Yeah, Gearbox retweeted a code for Borderlands, the pre-sequel, that gives all of your characters a turkey head skin. I, at this point, probably need to install Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and start trying to accrue all of these shift key codes, particularly since a lot of them just expire. I really don't have enough space, as much space as I would like, I think, to do that. And then will this be 2? Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this. Play this. And hit that. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't have enough room to have Borderlands pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 installed on my hard drive at the same time. My SSD, if the SSD really went on sale during the Black Friday, I'd probably want to get another one. But honestly, from what I heard most recently, SSD prices are just going down and down and down. So if I waited till after CES, there's a good chance that that would be on a pretty good discount even then. Game of Sutra has an article. Diablo Immortal exists because, quote, China really wants it, says Blizzard dev. China really wants a mobile Diablo game? I don't know which China you're talking about, really. Are you talking about China, the government of China, or are you talking about China, the people of China? And don't tell me they're one and the same, because they most definitely are not.
Well played.
There you go. Like, I seriously don't think China wants Diablo Immortal any more than anybody else does. I think NetEase wanted Diablo Immortal. And NetEase basically suckered Activision and Blizzard into signing a contract for a game that nobody else in the world wants, and I don't think anybody in the world wants. It would be really surprising, as we're moving over to the Asian account now, it would be really, really surprising if it turned out that Diablo Immortal did come out and it was super popular in China. But I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. I have not seen any Chinese mobile games that
to my end.
feel and look like Diablo. And Diablo Immortal, like, it had the previous Diablo games had skeletons in it. So if you really are making this for a Chinese market, are there gonna be literally no skeletons in Diablo Immortal? That would be crazy. 2 games with a mage and some combo cards now. Let's just double check to make sure we've gotten the Tavern Ball done. I'm playing mage a little bit more than I would have liked, but that's not too bad. And I believe we're on a win streak, so I'm gonna play this freeze mage and lose the win streak for me. Alright. Yeah, Activision is ruining Blizzard. Blizzard is ruining Blizzard. Blizzard is ruining Activision. And in the end, I think all the talent has already shown that it is more than willing to move on to new companies, and we'll probably see, I'm thinking in the next year we'll probably see quite a few game companies go under, and we might see several new game companies get developed. We've already seen some new game companies get developed, and from the perspective of like former Bethesda employees. Like, if Ben Brode was to announce a new Hearthstone style card game, I would probably jump the shark to that too. And I personally don't even think Ben Brode is that good of a leader in Hearthstone, but I might most definitely would consider jumping the shark. Jumping over to a Ben Brode Hearthstone style card game. I'm saying jump the shark, but I mean jumping sides. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article: GameStop to sell the Spring Mobile division for $700 million. Apparently, I did not know GameStop had purchased Spring Mobile. I don't even know what Spring Mobile is. Apparently it's the cell phone company that owns and operates 1,289 AT&T wireless stores. This must have been an acquisition that happened in the last 5 years or so. And so by selling this, they're hoping to be able to GameStop is hoping to be able to reinvest some cash into its core video game and collectibles business. Notice how they put collectibles on the same level as video games, because let's face it, GameStop is not making, it's not going to make a successful transition and into selling video games alone forever. Eventually people are going to go all digital, and then GameStop is not going to have anything to sell. Don't really need to cover all the games that came out in the past couple days, but I'll probably will. Let's see. I'm kind of just buying time so I could play this. Right, so freeze. And do that. In the turn. We have a game on Steam called Step by Step, which looks like a one-screen Unity, very minimalistic. It looks like a platformer or puzzle game. I'm not even really sure what this is, but what I can say is when you're just making different colored pixels on the screen, there's no way this is going to be an interesting game. Look at the frame rate on this video. This is running incredibly poorly. Yeah. That is not a game that should be on Steam. That's a game that should be in a first-year college class of programming. where you'd be able to get away from having no ability to hire an animator or animate something yourself.
Job's done.
Next we have a game on Steam called Elon Musk Simulator 2. Clearly this is a troll game, and it's not going to stay on Steam very long. I'm pretty sure you cannot use somebody's name and brand if they're a famous person without their permission. If that was the case, then there would be certainly a lot more things like that. Maybe if they were a politician, if it was Hillary Clinton Simulator 2, you might be able to get away with it, because parody law might kick in. In this case, even parody law might still be a valid response. Let's see. Let's do this. And then in the turn. TechRaptor has an article, Dogs for Charity, rare selling dog calendar supporting charity. So I misemphasized there. The company Rare, developers of Conker's Bad Fur Day, and several other games like Killer Instinct, is selling a dog calendar supporting charity. So 12 months of dogs in outfits. What is the charity that they're supporting? It seems like each dog is dressed up based on a game that Rare worked on too. Like one is as a pirate for like Sea of Thieves. One of them, it has a picture of I think another game that they worked on that I can't remember the name of. Let's see. Let's see. But the charity, all proceeds go to Special Effect, a UK-based charity aimed at bringing accessibility in video games to gamers with disability. Seems like that is video games companies' favorite style of charities, is just bringing games to children in need or children with disability in particular. I feel like that's pretty self-serving, and they frankly should spread out a little bit. Like maybe go after people, kids with cleft palates, or in some other way.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Need help. Alright, let's play this.
My hand is too full.
There's another card.
Pain, speak to me.
My hand is too full.
So we're milling them. Let's see. Actually gonna try and win here. Remember, I have a streak, so ruining the streak would kind of suck. Playing all these cards. Okay. Play this.
Reality.
Do this. secret.
Incredible discovery.
Let's hit this.
Bring the pain.
Hit that.
Job done.
Inventory.
My hand is
Next,
too
we have a
full.
game on Steam called Royal Booty Quest, which is about the name is the most provocative thing here. You can see that they're trying to be provocative on the graphics, but it looks like it's a card-based turn RPG that just looks absolutely horrible. Really, really awful, low effort game. So, yeah. That definitely is not making it to the fall list, and definitely not making it to the wish list. Beyond that, let's see. There goes my success. That was my power play there, as I was going to try and duplicate that character, the mana worm. Let's see. So I can freeze. I can make them draw more cards. I can play this.
Reality.
I can draw some more cards.
Job done.
I can end the turn. TechRaptor has an article, Eevee Tamagotchi to be released in Japan. So that'll be interesting. A Eevee style Tamagotchi that looks like it can evolve into at least 8 evolutions, which probably is the number of evolutions an Eevee can evolve into right now. It still feels a lot black and white, very black and white, so I'm a little surprised that it's a Tamagotchi that's brand new. But yeah, it still seems like it's gonna be black and white. It'll be surprising to see if Tamagotchis, even a Pokemon related Tamagotchi, would make its way outside of Japan, or if this would just be an example of something that is just, let's see. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that comes outside of Japan and would be a revival of the idea of a Tamagotchi in the West. I remember when Tamagotchis were a big thing when they first came out in the United States for a brief second there. I think I had and subsequently killed a few Tamagotchis. Moving on, Gamma Sutra has an article, a Steam currency gaffe leaves Australians unable to buy some games. Earlier this year, Valve announced plans to support the Australian dollar on Steam Marketplace. Let's see. When support for the AUD finally arrived this morning, some games were suddenly yanked for sale, leaving users in the country unable to purchase a variety of titles, including one featured on the Steam storefront. Interesting. So were they yanked for sale because they are not classified in Australia? I doubt it, because I imagine they were already following the rules there. Let's see. As reported by Kotaku, a number of popular titles from big names like Microsoft and Ninja Theory are currently unavailable for purchase as shown below, including Quantum Break, Ori and the Blind Forest, Hellblade, Spelunky, Into the Breach, Undertale, Return of Obsidian, Night in the Woods, Warhammer 2, and many more. Whenever Steam introduced a new currency, it requires developers to set a new price for that region. This means that every dev needed to choose a new price point in Australian dollars before the switch up. And as you can probably imagine, quite a few forgot.
I'm almost out of cards.
Let's see. Still trying to win. Let's do this.
Someday I'll be just like you. Someday I'll be just like you.
Bring the pain.
Let's go ahead and
Bring
draw cards.
Out of cards.
I must have burned the card I needed. Where's Archmage Antonidas when I need him? I think I don't have the actual card I need to play this Freeze Mage strategy. According to an independent source, Steam prepared the transition by sending creators multiple emails reminding them to add an AUD price for their game, otherwise it would become unviable. Of course, it's possible older titles have unmonitored email addresses, and we know of at least one developer who says they never received the email. Interesting. So this might be a great example of like how many developers out there on Steam literally have disappeared and don't even monitor their email address anymore. Let's see. Yeah, that might prove quite surprising to see how many low effort scammers that got on the Steam don't have their game available on us in Australian dollars. And see, I think that would be very helpful for Steam too to have that kind of information. That shows a lack of interest, a lack of activity for them to investigate further. Although, why not just convert it by default? At least for people who don't set that price. Like send out multiple emails and then have the last couple emails saying, hey, if you don't set a price, we're just going to sell it by converting the value to whatever it is right now, because clearly that's what they were doing in previous instances. Is people were buying Steam credit or Steam gift cards. I don't even know how Australian people were buying games before that point. They were probably converting their Australian dollars to US dollars and then having US dollars listed in their Steam wallet. That would be my guess.
I shall bring you rest.
Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Binary Bots VR, which does not look impressive for a VR game. Looks like it's basically some very generic environments and shapes. So yeah, that's not making it to the list. GameIndustry.biz has an article, the post-Telltale plans for Skybound Games, how the Walking Dead license holder will better establish itself as a games publisher. So I'm going to try and skim this article, although that's going to be kind of complicated. But my general idea here is to try and skim it and see what it says. Let's see. This is a question and answer article. What? Here's a quote
This
that's
jungle
bolded.
hides many
Quote, "We continue to work with third parties, but to have our own in-house games publishing vehicle was one bit that was missing." So they're going to focus more on that. There's another big quote. Quote, "If there's something really outstanding, we can say to the creators, well, what about comics? What about books? What about TV?" End quote. So they're going to go for the multimedia approach, which might work, might not. Honestly, if you look at like the Marvel comics, there is, I think, an argument to be made that the Marvel movies and the Disney movies are pushing comics out in favor of
Bring you rest.
just having the Marvel movies be their own thing and they're much bigger thing.
Out of cards.
Instead of the Marvel movies, say, having stands that sold comics, or having the concession stands in movie theaters sell Marvel comics, or have any kind of tie-in whatsoever for what's going on in the movies with the actual comics that are coming out, there really hasn't been anything like that. So they don't seem like they're doing anything interesting to promote the other media. And Disney also, same Disney that makes the Marvel movies, not really doing anything with the larger world of the Star Wars universe, like the fan novels and any kind of like TV movie novelizations or anything. I haven't heard anything like that being made. Guess we'll do that. I'm gonna lose. Excuse me, sorry. I've gotten bad about not muting myself. Next we have a game on Steam that is in Chinese, I suspect, so yeah, simplified Chinese. So I can't name it. Wouldn't make it to the wish list anyways. Come out to us an article, a mecha turn-based strategy game called Warborn has been announced for the PS3, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It's due out in 2019. I'll watch the trailer, I suppose. So yeah, I totally blew that. I lost my win streak, and now I'm back down to rank 20. I should have done this, and I should actually play this and play the combo games cards. Hopefully there actually are combo cards in this rogue deck. If there isn't, I guess I should check, shouldn't I? Before I hop in and play a tempo rogue game. Let's actually see if there's anything with combo in the name. Let's see. Combo. There's one combo card. So there's probably 2 copies of that. There's another combo card. It'll take a couple of games to play it, but I think we can try that. I'm watching this anime-esque trailer for this game, Warborn. It looks alright. Maybe it will be good. Maybe it won't. The actual game, though, no. Actually, now that I'm looking at the gameplay and the hex tile-based fighting, it's actually the exact opposite of what you'd want in a mecha game, because you're not flying around in a mecha that's free-flowing and moving. And so far I haven't seen a good mecha game available on Steam, but that certainly wouldn't be it. moving on, Gamasutra has an article called Learning from the Masters, Level Design in the Legend of Zelda. It's 3 pages long, and I think the irony needs to be pointed out in this case. Like, Legend of Zelda, while a beloved game, certainly, is not well designed. Its level design is not good. It's simplistic, it's basic, it has items placed randomly, hidden in random caves that you have to put a bomb. There's literally no way anybody would have found half of the items in that game had they not been told to you via strategy guides. Now I'm talking about the original Legend of Zelda. I would also say the Adventures of Link, the next game, probably not that great level design either. But once you start getting to the later series, of course, later Legend Zelda games do have better level design. Although I'd argue maybe not that good for the most recent one. If you think about it, they decided to make smaller dungeons in that game. Ocarina of Time is probably where you'd say that you have the best level design, but even then, I'm not so sure. So it's just kind of weird a lot of times when people write these articles and they're just going for the clickbait idea, and so they're just going to talk about things that are recognizable when really it doesn't make any sense at all. Like, for the NES era, I would say Super Mario Brothers has way better level design because each one of those levels was really thought out. And that's probably not saying a lot. There are some other NES games that would have had good level design. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the early Final Fantasy games had pretty decent level design on NES. First, an enemy minion need to deal damage to the minions next to it. Guess we could try that.
I hope you like my invention.
Seems like what I'm supposed to do is play this and then shuffle and then play that. And just continuously get as many of these ambush characters here.
Reporting for duty.
Not on my watch.
Next we have a game on Steam called The Experiment Escape the Room. This could be an asset flip horror game basically, or it could be an actual escape the room puzzle game that actually is good. I really just have to put it on the follow list and see how the reviews go. $3.59 is probably not too expensive, and I'm taking note that while it supports VR, I'm not getting the red box that says it requires VR. VR is not necessary. You can play at the desktop using a keyboard, mouse, and gamepad. Yeah. More and more games are definitely going that route. Alright. There's one combo card out of 6. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Dereliction, which looks like it might be a top-down twin stick shooter. Maybe it's a puzzle game. Says it's a strategy violent indie game. I kind of need to see this in play. It might be a tower defense game, honestly. So if I scroll way over here, I'll watch this video as I come over here and play. Also. Let's see. That's 2 combo cards. So yeah, this is a tower defense style game set in a spaceship alcoves instead of more open field style. So you're placing and almost like StarCraft, telling individual units to go to places and attack these constantly coming enemies. Yeah, it doesn't look that good though, so yeah, I'm not gonna put it on the list. Whenever I cast a spell, draw a card. Summon 7/1. I'm about to lose. Well, I would need to play combo cards, so that's not gonna help anyways. Let's see. We have a game on Steam, as I'm gonna lose over there, called Shakes and Fidget Remastered. This one is rated mixed already. It's a free-to-play game. People seem to be willing to play free-to-play games and review them pretty quickly. Yes, this looks like it's some kind of... It looks like a Diablo clone, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually isn't, and if it's more of a idle clicker resource management game. Let me watch this video and see if it gives me any more detail. So 4 more combo cards need to be played. Good thing I moved over to casual. The animation in this trailer for this game looks actually pretty good, but I just don't know. But they're not showing any actual gameplay on the video, so they're hiding it.
Versus Jaina.
They say it's a multiplayer RPG. Let's see. And a lot of people are saying the game is just a buggy mess. I guess it doesn't matter if it's a buggy mess or not. If it's an RPG MMO, as it's been tagged as, it's not the kind of game I'd ever cover anyway, so I can just move on and close that tab. Next we have a game on Steam called Dawn of Breakers, which is a free-to-play RPG. Looks like it's half cheap cell phone chibi animated and half kind of nicely animated anime visual novel. I don't like the mix of those 2 animation styles. These chibi small animation style, I just think it has got to go. This feels like a cell phone port, definitely. Let me see if I can find a video of gameplay. Yeah, let's do that. And do that. Well, if this is a free-to-play RPG, I'd never play it anyways, because I'm really not going to play any free-to-play game anyway. It has in-app purchases. Yeah. This does not look a good enough quality style game to be on Steam. It looks like a quality style game that you would expect on. So guess I'm gonna hold on to that. And do that.
If you're sure.
And that. Yeah, I don't think Dawn of Breakers needs any more consideration. We can close that tab. I only have a few more things. Yeah, I still have about 10 games I could talk about. And we still have some things to deal. Alright, deal 1 damage, draw a card. Attack.
Oh, if you're sure.
Turn. Gamma Sutra has a video, virtual reality postmortem, VR lessons learned. This is from their sister company GDC presentations. I don't know what lessons you really could learn from the VR Rick and Morty game other than, yeah, VR is still not really easily accessible to a lot of people, and you probably shouldn't waste your effort making a VR game.
Go. That minion already attacked.
There you go. But this is a video anyway, so I'd have to watch it, and I certainly don't have time for that, so I'm closing that tab. Next we have what is clearly a troll game, very low effort game called Kitten Love Emulator. And it's just awful crayon drawings with a random asset flip thrown in for good measure. Just like total garbage. And even if there was a
so many options,
like some kind of secret hidden game inside something like this,
here we go.
That's still not good enough to make me want to play something that sells itself like that. This developer says his name is true. He says his publisher's name is false. So, like, clearly there's a lack of even understanding the language, or just a blatant disregard for the language and filling out the forms properly. The fact that that doesn't automatically get flagged by Steam before it even gets allowed on Steam is definitely part of the problem.
Welcome to my world.
Okay. Hit that. And then shadow step that. And then we'll play that again next turn. Next we have a game on Steam called Farm Business, which has a very blurry picture. This is one of those mobile games that really is nothing at all and has no reason whatsoever to be on Steam. They're selling it for $4.79 with it being 40% discounted right now. They've already got a DLC listed also. That's pretty bad. Yep. Let's see. This.
Welcome to my world.
This.
There once was a man from Gilneas.
And what do we want to do here? Kind of nothing. Next we have a game on Steam called Beat Stickman Infinity Clones, which is a low-effort Stickman game with a fidget spinner in the middle for no reason apparently. This one is not even up on the most recent memes because they probably spent too much time actually developing something, which is a sad statement for as horrible as this looks. See, I need 2 more combo cards, and then I would need 2 victories with the Freeze Mage, which I'm probably not going to get in this recording because I think I'm going to run out of news. Although maybe not, because if I go back to my Twitter feed, there might be some new games to cover and talk about.
I must protect the
Next we have a game on Steam called Tabletop Basketball VR. I think this is kind of a ridiculous combination of 2 ridiculous ideas, both being in VR to look at a tabletop game and then using VR to control a game that is not actually a tabletop VR game, a tabletop game, which would be basketball. Yeah, there's definitely some craziness there, and I'm not willing to investigate that game any further. So yeah, close that tab. Let's steal this. Whenever a minion dies this turn, gain 1 mana crystal for this turn only.
Too soon.
Alright, that might work. Game Sutra has a article talking about that game Dawn of Breakers 2. Free to play 3D action brawler Dawn of Breakers, now available for PC. It was previously released for the Switch. So this is probably an example of a game that didn't make its money on the Switch and is now trying to make its money on PC. Which that's not gonna work. And it looks pretty bad, even for a Switch game. Let's play
I hope
this.
you like my invention.
Job's done.
Do that. Next we have a game on Steam called Secret of the Rindrasha Blade, which looks like an RPG Maker game. It looks a little bit better. I think the new RPG Maker engine is making the games look slightly better, but it still doesn't really change the fact that, you know, if you make an RPG Maker game, it's because you have no ability to program or make a game yourself, and you don't have any artistic ability, so you're going to use pre-made RPG assets and as far as artistic tiles and such. And so you're not to the level of making a quality and original product. It might make a slightly decent quality product, but it is going to be so incredibly derivative of so many other JRPGs. It's not going to be able to stand out at all. So we have Shadow Step, we have Deer Troll, deal 1 damage, draw. Okay.
For me.
Keep on attacking.
Oh, if you're sure.
Next we have a game on Steam called Starcross Arena. Looks like it's probably a...
Put this apple on your
Well,
head.
I have no idea what it is, but it looks pretty ugly. Whatever it is. Early access casual indie game. I don't know if it's like a puzzle game or what. I'll watch this video, but just because I want to know what this game is. Well, never mind. That video didn't show me what the game is. And that's enough certainly to prove to me that it isn't anything. $19.99 for Starcross Arena. Laughably
I
expensive.
hope you like my invention.
Okay. Do this. Do this. And
For me.
let's go ahead and hit that.
Here we go.
And attack here. Next we have a game on Steam called Animal Force. I'm running out of oxygen. I've been talking too long and I'm running out of steam and I'm getting sleepy. Definitely was the right move to stream early this morning instead of trying to stream really late. Yeah, this game Animal Force, I'm having a hard time telling what it is, which probably tells me it's not that good. I'm not being very generous today on games, which is probably a decently smart
For
move.
me.
Let's see. Let's shadow step this.
I don't need any.
Here we go.
Yeah, this looks like some kind of weird VR game, Animal Force. for $14.99. Yes, it is a VR game, and it seems almost like it's an attempt at making a bullet hell shooter in VR, but instead you're creating like a whip chain of characters that you're whipping around and using as kind of your attack vector.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Let's see. Yeah, Animal Force does not look interesting. Yeah, I'm starting to get sleepy. I may have to just play some stuff off screen. Let's see. Next, we have a game on Steam called Fortified Swiss, which sounds like an interesting name. I'm not sure it really is an interesting game. There, sorry for rhyming. Looks like it might be a tile-based tower. It says it's a tower defense game. Okay. Well, I don't understand it. I'll watch this, but if it's a tower defense game, as they say, then
So many options.
that already tells me that's not something that I'm interested in.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Let's see. Deal 1 damage, draw a card. An attack here.
Time to pay.
I think I'm gonna lose, which is whatever.
I am the blade of the gods.
Fortified Swiss doesn't look like it's good enough. Yeah, I'm quickly losing steam fast. Next we have a game on Steam called Neon Code, which looks like it might be an adventure. It looks slightly better polished than most games. A little dark, it's kind of hard to tell. This might be an asset flip with just some polish on it. Or it might be a good game. So this one needs a little bit more observation. We'll put it on the fall list and see how people like it. It's English and Hungarian. Interesting language combinations, particularly when you're seeing Asian letters in the signs. Alright. We need to play this. And then play this. And then play this.
Too soon.
Play this. And then do this.
Here we go.
And that's still gonna lose it for me. But at least I played a combo card. Let's see. Hey, we did all the combo cards. So then that just puts us on the mage cards, where we could play ranked, mage, wild, either battle cry or elemental. Let's play elemental and see how that one works. If we got a free victory right now and a free victory after that, we'd be good. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna have to play a little bit of mage off screen. Next, we have a game called Evil Mine. Evolved Mine. It does not look good. Like, it looks like you're actually planting mines, or is this some kind of minesweeper idea that just doesn't make sense?
You asked for it.
Like, I think it might be a minesweeper game, but I've seen better minesweeper games on Steam. 74 cents with a whole pack of other Evol games. Evil Mine, Evil Spider Sim, Evil Evolution. Yeah. I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, not good enough quality. Next we have a game on Steam called Power Cut Incorporated, which seems like it's a Sim Tower game. And I'm not sure I'd ever really want to play a Sim Tower game, but I'm fairly certain that this is not a good quality one anyways. So, yeah.
Reality
No real need.
woven.
I guess what the idea is you're running like an esports game, or you're an esports player, and you have to, the characters have to run and hit the generators and keep the power going, and power is always at a premium. I guess that's the general idea.
Unravel.
Yeah. This feels like this is too hyperactive of a clicker style game, or just a random game, to actually be interesting to play. And the graphics still just are not impressive enough. So I'm being very critical here, particularly since the game is only $2.99, but yeah, I think I don't want it. I don't want it on the follow list. Let's see. Gematsu has an article. Musynx is coming to the PC December 5th. That's MUSYNX, a rhythm game. Apparently, it was available on the PS4, Switch, and PS Vita and smartphones. So it's coming to Steam. We're seeing more Japanese style games in particular coming to Steam, which is cool, but a lot of times they're coming over with some problems. We'd like them to come over problem free if we can. Next we have a game on Steam called Data Mining 3 that looks super simplistic and very monotone or duotone as far as the colors, and it just makes it look boring. Really, really boring. Before I even have to understand what this game is or what you're doing, it seems like you're just trying to direct balls to hit pieces and then getting to the exit when you're done. Let's see.
I should meet you.
So yeah, that's not coming to the follow list. I have, I think, just 2 games that actually are going to make it to the follow list, which is not super surprising, and very few people I think would be releasing a game on Black Friday. You would have wanted to release it earlier and then maybe put it on sale for the Steam Autumn sale. Not have the game come out in the middle of the Steam Autumn sale, as these games are doing. Next we have a game on Steam called Intersolar Drive, which would mean it is a drive that only flies in between the distances of our sun, which we call Sol, and not any specific star. They probably meant to type Interstellar Drive. That would make more sense. Unless I'm mistranslating the word. I am half falling asleep right now, so I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm not wrong about this game looking horrible. For $3.99, so it's not going to the follow list. And then that leaves us with the last game on so far. It's the Eternal Realm 2 Dark Matter, a RPG Maker game where I have really no desire to ever play an RPG Maker game or anything that even looks slightly like that. So, yeah.
Reality woven.
Freeze.
Don't mess with me!
Now, this is odd that I seem to be winning pretty easily here while I'm not even paying attention. See, that puts me at the Humble Bundle store, which the Humble Jumbo Bundle 12 still has some decent offerings, I think, and I think there's one other bundle that has some decent offerings. Let's see, the Dystopian Games bundle was pretty good too. So if you were to get any duplicate game codes, Steam codes from these bundles, and you wanted to gift them to me, send them through Twitter to direct message. That'd be very much appreciated. I've just realized because I started early, some of these daily quests are going to come in. So there's actually quite a lot of daily quest stuff that needs to be done. Let's see. I want to go back to my Twitter feed and see if there's any new news before we wrap up this stream. In the meantime, for the Asian account, I'm gonna have to go back and win one more mage victory off screen in a Shaman account. Let's switch to the European account and see if anything new is unlocked. I wouldn't be surprised if a daily quest did unlock later this evening, late this evening, but that shouldn't be too much of a concern. That should still work Monday when I play them. Yeah, so I'm scrolling down my Twitter feed just to see if there's anything new to talk about. And of course there are new games coming out. For the European account, nothing new as far as the daily quest yet. Let's switch to the Asian account. I mean the Americas account. Gamasutra has an article, Pokemon Let's Go has sold over 3 million units worldwide. I hear it's a pretty good game, and I think everybody is having a fun time with it. And see, yeah, for the Americas account, also there's no new daily quest. So that just leaves us with Asian accounts, at least for the time being. And Forklift Simulator 2019 is now available on Steam. I seriously doubt anybody would play that, but I'll keep an eye on it and look at it and talk about it on Monday. Games are still coming out, surprisingly. So I hate to do this, but I end up doing this a lot. I'm going to just scroll down my Twitter feed and look and see if there's any new news to talk about. Screen 7 is going to release a game called Mr. Maze that looks really creepy. Screen 7 known for publishing the game The Cat Lady, which was a pretty creepy horror adventure game too. Shenmue 3 crowdfunding has totaled $7.18 million. Darksiders 3 Horse with No Name trailers and screenshots are out. I don't know if you need another trailer since Darksiders 3 is coming out just in a few days. And see, I'm starting to see the things I've already seen, so I don't think there actually is any more news. So it's only about 5 games that can be saved for Monday, and no real news that I haven't talked about. So yeah, I think we're in a good point to wrap it up. I'm surprised even one person came on the chat and said hi, so thanks for that. Again, apologies to Travis. He wanted to play me, and I'm certainly still not in any mental shape with my insomnia kicking up so bad. But at least I got most of the daily quest done, and that's about as much as I can hope for. Yeah, and I'm still just scrolling down Twitter. Wish there was a faster way to scroll down Twitter. As a reminder, at 2 o'clock Central Time and I believe noon Central Time, there will be videos, extra videos coming out on my YouTube channel covering the Steam Awards nominations and looking at just window shopping through my wish list to see what kind of games I think are a good deal that are on sale right now during the autumn Steam sale. And there's a bunch of Black Friday sales that I'll have to look at, and other people would have to look at, because they're gonna come and go like crazy, and a lot of them are not gonna be that good of sales. Let's see, now I've hit some new stuff, so I'm opening about 3 more so far. Things. Minecraft apparently has a Block Friday sale. Nice pun. And I think at that point I've hit the infinite spinning loading symbol for Twitter. So yeah, we're good to go. That's going to be it for this recording. I'm off to bed. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Bell.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, which would be greatly appreciated, particularly right now while there's a sale going on Steam, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list, or just a game you'd like to see me cover, or gift me a gift card. All of those would be very helpful, or any of those would be very helpful. Also, you could support me via the link down below through Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.